Well, hi everyone, this is Bob from Hot Rock Central, and today I'm going to take you through my elaborate exotic wiring system I got for my solar system. And I doubt you're going to find anything even remotely like this on YouTube. So this ought to be interesting for you guys who are really nuts about this stuff. And we'll start off with over here with my backup inverter system. And that there is a 4 kW Slimba. And for my backup inverter, I have another backup. So if that one fails, I've got exactly the same one there to take its place. And that's fed by these 600 amp hour AGMs, which is at 24 volts is actually 300 amp hours I have available on this system. And that is charged with this EPEVER 60 amp charger, which is probably going to be replaced sometime in the near future because I'm going to be adding a 280 amp lithium bank to this very shortly, and I'll need some more charging power to charge them up. And this over here, this relay you see, this is coming off my solar panels, and what this does is from a sensor, a solar intensity sensor switch. What it does is it determines the amount of sunlight, and depending on what it is, it'll switch back and forth between the solar panels, back and forth between these batteries here, or this charger, and these chargers here for my main battery bank. And I'll get into that in more detail in just a minute. And let's see if there's anything else over here I need to show. Oh yeah, there's a amp monitor coming right off my solar panels to tell me how many amps is feeding into these batteries. And these are all tied together with just common ground bus bars. They're very handy to have. And this is a neat tool to have if you've never seen one of these before. This is a lug crimper, and it has a rotating head on it that goes from number 2 up to 1/0. So that's a nice little item to have right there. And then I have my Lappy computer here that monitors my system and lets me know what's going on with it. And over here I have indicator lights that tell me what status my system is in, whether it's on a main inverter or backup inverter. And then I have 3 kilowatt meters here. There's one there that's coming off my backup system, and then there's another one there coming off my main system. And because my air conditioner here and my winter heater are on a separate circuit, I have another one sitting right up there. So at the end of the month, I tally them all up to see what my kilowatt production is off the inverters. And then let's see. Over here, this is my trimetric battery monitor, and I consider this probably to be something pretty essential. I can keep a expert eye on what's going on with my batteries and make sure that I'm not overdraining them so that they last longer. And then all my solar panels, the 42 that I have right now, are being fed into these breakers right here. And that's going to increase to 54 panels here shortly, probably sometime next week, I think. And like I said earlier, I have this relay here and this relay over here on my backup system. And these 2 relays are controlled by these solar intensity switches here. And depending on the amount of sunlight, it'll send power back and forth either to my main system or the backup system. And then over here I have DC meters coming off my solar panel banks, my 2 solar panel banks. And there's the volt rating for one of the banks. And here's the reading for the other bank. And of course, you see here I've got these Victron 15100s, both of them. It gives me up to 200 amps of charging power. And then I can manually go from backup to main inverter just by this switch right here. And that's the control relay, the power relay that feeds into the main system. And then, of course, my main system is this Gentry 6 kW inverter. And there's a few things I don't like about it, but overall, it's a pretty robust unit, and I'm pretty happy with it. Just only a few minor complaints, really. And over here, you see this blower motor down here. This feeds fresh air into my battery cabinet because I've got lead acid batteries in there. And there is a hydrogen sensor in there that detects a buildup of gas, and every time it gets up to a level that's maybe dangerous, I don't know if it is or not, but it'll kick in the fan motor here and blow fresh air in the system. And I have it set up for the wintertime right now so that it's coming up here right above my propane heater. And you can see the pipe is split underneath it to catch the hot air coming off of it, so that when I'm here in the shed and I'm actually running the propane heater, instead of using electrical power to heat the batteries up inside the cabinet, for which I have heating pads underneath all the batteries there to keep them warm during the wintertime. So instead of using electricity, I can use the propane here, which is a heck of a lot faster in heating up the batteries than the heating pads are, because I don't really have a whole lot of power going to the heating pads, but they're able to keep, even on the coldest night, I can keep my battery cabinet up to usually above 70 degrees. And let's see, what else we got here? Okay, and then over here I've got my battery current meter and voltage meter, and this tells me exactly what's going on with whether there's power going in or power going out and how much into my batteries. Same thing I've got over here on my backup system. And once I get my lithium batteries, it'll have its own meter too, so I can monitor everything. And then this little gadget you see here, this is a delay timer I have on my blower motor. Because the way it works out, if you don't have this, the hydrogen gas builds up in the cabinet so fast that once it shuts off, it's only seconds later before the blower motor kicks back in to try to flush out the hydrogen gas. And see, it just came on now. And basically what it does, it extends the run time another minute after the sensor shuts off, and flushes more fresh air into the system so that the blower motor isn't cycling so much. So that was handy to have. And over here, this is for a combination of the heating pads in my battery cabinet, and for the blower motor during the summertime. Basically what this does is it's controlled by this temperature sensor here, and during the summertime, when it gets above a certain temperature, in the summer mode, it'll engage the blower motor. But the same switch here, when it's switched over to winter mode, when it gets down below a certain temperature, then what it'll do, when I have it in the winter mode, it'll divert the power from that to the heaters in the battery cabinet. And here's where my power off the inverters come in, join it with the main system. And I use these really heavy-duty combiners here to make sure I got good power transfer. And let's see, up here, I've got the power going into my AC system. It tells me what the inverters are putting out, the voltage, the amps. And right above that, I've got another one that's telling me what the amps going into the system is. And I just put that there because when I'm not close to the meter, I can't actually see what this is saying. So that helps me see a little bit better. But it turns out it's a piece of junk and it doesn't read accurately, because you can see I'm putting out 5.9 amps there, and that's only reading 5.4, so it's off by quite a bit. And with the flick of a switch here, with a regular light switch, this controls the main power relay between my inverter and the grid system. And if I want to switch over to grid, all I do is flip that, and I'm on grid. Flip it down to solar, and it's automatically on solar. And then I have my indicator lights here to tell me what's feeding my electrical system, whether it be grid or solar. And over here, because my AC and heater, space heater is on a separate circuit, I've got a separate indicator light for them to tell me whether they're on grid or solar. And the main inverter is all automated when it goes on or off by this switch right here. And it's set right now because of my limitation on battery power to come on at midnight, and it goes off at dusk. So that's all automated. And this right here is tied into this solar sensor here. And what this is for is, say for example, you get a day of sketchy sunshine and you don't want to, your batteries, maybe you're drained too much and you want to take too much off your batteries. If you put it in the AC auto mode, then what happens is this switch over here will switch it back and forth between grid and solar power, depending on the intensity of the solar intensity. Then, of course, when I switch it up to AC solar override, that puts it permanently on inverter power. And let's see. Okay. And I've got an ass load of timers on this system doing all kinds of stuff. And this one here controls this switch over here. And basically it just turns it off at night because there's no need for it during the night. And then that's for my charger fans. Behind those Victrons there are cooling fans. And those are set to come on as during the morning when it starts getting in the time of the day when they're getting loaded up, and shuts down just before dark. And because our power system here, the electrical company, has what they call peak hours, you pay an exorbitant amount of money during those hours to use electricity. So basically what this switch does here, this ensures that my system, no matter how I've got it set up, whether I forgot to do something or not, this will guarantee that during peak hours my system will be on inverter power, so that I don't have to face any of those ridiculous charges. And let's see over here. Well, that relay there controls the power going to the air conditioner and the heater, whether it be on grid power or inverter power. And then there's another timer down here, and this one controls the other solar sensors right there, turns them off at night. And let me see what else. Is there anything else here I didn't cover? Let's see. No, I think I about got it. So, all right, now we'll move over to my solar water heater system. And right here, this thermostat is for my summer heater, and this thermostat's for my winter heater. And I just activated my winter system just about a week ago because it's getting that time of the year. And this one, the summer heater, is not performing very well anymore. So during the winter, I combine both of them so they help each other out. As you can see right now, the indicator light's on the winter water heater, and that means it's running right now. And if for some reason this one right here comes on at the same time this is on, this takes precedent and overrides this one until this one is finished running, and then it'll let this one run. And then I can keep track of what my temperature is in my water heater because I've got temperature sensors on them, reading that, and I've actually got two sensors on there, one on the top of the water heater and one at the bottom, because There's actually quite a bit of difference between the temperature on the bottom and the top. And with the flick of a switch right here, I can see the difference. So I can see the bottom of the tank is 132, top of the tank is 147. So anyways, that pretty much covers the basics of this system. Of course, going into much more detail would be excruciating, trying to describe all this stuff, so I'm not going to do that. But it gives you an idea what's going on here. And as you can see, you guys are probably going to give me an F on wiring, I mean, because that looks really atrocious. But the thing is this system is in such a state of flux all the time with things being changed and modifications and stuff like that. If everything was to be hardwired real neat and stuff like that, any changes that would have to be made to the system would be really such a pain in the ass that I'm not even going to go there. So I've had this system up and running for probably about 1.5 years now like this, and with no troubles except for maybe some of the components going bad that I've got to change out. Other than that, this thing's been running terrific. I'm not having any problems with it. So I'm not in any fear whatsoever if there's any problems with this. And basically, most of this wiring you see here is going to all these relays that control everything. And it's 120 volt, but it's low current system that's not really too dangerous, I don't think. And it's on its own 5-amp breaker. That's how little current the relays and all that are using. So I mean, even if something did come loose and started sparking, I mean, take out a 5-amp breaker just like that and save from having a fire or something like that. I'm pretty sure of it. So anyways, like I said earlier, I've got a lithium bank coming in probably the next couple of weeks that's going to be tied into this system right here. And I'm actually going to combine it with my lead acids, and which is not very well known about, or whether it can be done effectively or not. And what I'm going to do is test that out and see how that works out and pans out, and see if they can work together without too much of a problem. And since I don't have a whole lot of floor space here, everything's clogged up with stuff, I'm going to have to put it up in the air, so it's probably going to be sitting right above there on a platform right above the charger. So anyway, stay tuned for that, because that's going to be an interesting experiment there to find out how that works out. And I will see you all later on that. Thanks for watching.